Yes. Greetings and thank you for coming. Hello, everyone. Pretty exciting day for me today. We won't be as long as normal because I'm just going to keep it as short as I can. I'm doing this kind of remotely, so let me know if the sound is not right or if it's skipping or something like that, and we'll see how we go. But I'm really, really excited to introduce you to my good buddy. Now, Willi did the design on the first one, and he also is doing the design on the second one. You can see it in the background there. So I've come up to North Queensland. For those Aussies who know where Cairns is. For the non-Aussies, Cairns is way up on the northern part of the Great Barrier Reef. It's about 2,000 kilometres or about 1,200 miles north of where I live. So I flew up and I'm spending a couple of days with Willi, and we're going to finalise everything. Torbjørn, oh, it's good to see you. Budi from Indonesia. Torbjørn all the way from Norway. I'm always happy to see
everybody.
Torbjørn. And Frederick. Frederick is from Sweden. Harry's from Upper Kimura. Oxenford. Look, it's really exciting for me, and I have to say what's really exciting about it is Willi, of all the people in the world, is really the only one besides myself who's actually seen both books. And Willi's been working on the new book. I'm really excited. How's it been going, Will?
Yeah, so when we first did the book, we didn't have computers in graphic design, of course, so it was all pasteboard, cut and paste.
Those galley rolls, I remember.
Galley rolls of typesetting, which had to be specified, cut up, waxed, and pasted on boards. And of course, we have the problem now digitizing it. And unfortunately, a lot of photos we don't have the originals of. So we've had to compensate a bit. Camera's done a whole bunch of new illustrations and kanji, which is just beautiful and fantastic, and he's expanded it, and I probably shouldn't have told him he could make a few changes because Cameron doesn't know how to make a few changes.
Leave me alone. Every day I come back to Willi and go, oh, Willi, you just got this little change. Oh, Willi, just got this little change. And I think Willi's about to lynch me. But anyway, here we are in our hotel room. Horst, Leo, Daniel, Bill, good to see you all, Herman. So anyway, look, let's see if we can see that. We're in the hotel room. I'm in a tiny, and Willi brought his iMac, but there's the cover. And if you see, let's see if I can get really close. It's a beautiful cover. The way Willi's put the kanji in the background there is pretty special, I think. And so this is a unique photograph. It's supplied to us for the cover by Graham Munro. Graham, if you're there. Yeah, that's great. Graham Munro is one of Australia's premier photographers. He's what's called a Canon ambassador. So he's one of Australia's best known photographers. And he's also a Kyokushin black belt who happened to win the 1982, I think, 1982 Nationals. But it's a beautiful cover. And we've got some pretty exciting news as well. I intimated it last time we spoke, last week. But anyway, we're flicking through. We've got a whole new colour section. And look, the new forward is by none other than Ivan Drago, Rocky IV's Dolph Lundgren, who's written the forward for the new book. So that's very exciting. It's a very, very nice forward. And I'm very, very excited to have Sensei Dolph, because he's a fourth Dan, to write the forward for it. But also I'm really excited for Dolph because people often don't realise how dedicated Dolph is to Kyokushin. He really loves Kyokushin. It's been part of his life since he was a teenager. And so I think this is a fantastic way, not just for me to have an updated forward. That's only half the story. The other half is that I'm really excited for people to see how much of a role Kyokushin has played in Dolph's life. So that's another exciting thing. just zoom out again and just go right up the front. We've got this. Previously, we had 16 coloured pages. Is that right, Will?
Yeah.
And what do we got now?
32.
32 colour pages. So go right back and we'll scroll through them for you. But we've got some photos you'll recognise, but we've added some great new photos. What do you think? Do you think we should actually show them all the great new photos?
Well, let's go to some of the newer stuff. The tiles.
Oh, you'll love this. This is beautiful. What Willi has been able to do here. I'm just trying to line it up. Where are we? There we go. Let me get around there. Here we go. That's a 2-page spread introducing, saying thank you. I'm trying to get this. I'm holding my computer up to do it. There. Did you see that? We've got this. Mike, 37. Dang. I thought it was hot here. But this is one of the 2 pages. We've got 32 pages in the front now. We've got that beautiful tile spread and these lovely photos, colour photos of Masayama. That's a great one too. Of you Aussies, if you don't know Peter Collis, you will now. That's a beautiful photo that we've taken in the dojo during young Ben. Ben's the younger fella there. He's third Dan grading. Okay. And no, that's okay. Yeah, that's his third Dan grading. He fought a good solid 30 rounds. No, he did. I can't remember. He did 40 or 30. We do 40 for our first, 30 for second. Yeah, he did 30 again for his third. He felt like it. But that's him with Peter Collis, who's a bit of a legend in Australian Kyokushin. So I love that photo because it's very expressive of Peter Collis. This is a lovely 2-page spread that Willi's put together with some old photos of seminars around the world, pictures going back to, you see this one, where are we here? This one.
Are you on the show?
No, this one here. Can you point to that one, Will? See that one there? That's Gary O'Neill and Wally Schnaubelt's first Uchideshi day, the very first day they became Uchideshi. And that photo next to it, that's a number of years later when they both fought in the All Japan Championship. The year before this, they'd fought in the Worlds. Wally won the Tameshi Wari award. He broke 33 boards with 4 techniques, and Gary came 4th. And in this one, in the All Japan, sorry, I'm pointing at it on my own screen, but in the All Japan and this year, Wally came 6th and Gary came 2nd. So I still think it's, to this day, the only time 2 students from the one dojo made the dais and made the presentation. But there's some great photos here. This one here down the bottom, that's, I'm very proud of Gillan too. That's Dr. Gillan Farmer. That's her Shodan grading. She's putting her hand all the way through 3 1-inch boards. And Dr. Gillan Farmer in 2012 became the Chief Medical Officer for the United Nations. And she retired, but then they called her back at the beginning of the COVID crisis. Yeah, the COVID crisis, because she oversaw the United Nations emergency response to the Zika virus and to a number of other Ebola and so on. So she's a genuine legend in the martial arts world, in the medical profession. And she was my first female black belt. So that's very exciting. So this is a beautiful 2-page color spread. Just part of the new 32 pages. What else have we got there? We showed you that beautiful. Yeah. These are some great photos of seminars going all the way back here. This is, I went to a seminar with Kishi Nobuyuki. He fought in the First World Tournament. He's unfortunately passed away since, but this was a camp with him in the Catskills in 1980, would you believe? But anyway, great photos. We're really excited. And Willi, what do you think of some of the new illustrations?
Oh, yeah, no, Cam's done some wonderful new illustrations. We've especially just updating a few of the older ones and improving on them. And
there was some illustrations which I was never really, it's kind of whited out. You can't see the copy, but there you go. there were some illustrations I was never happy with in terms of the first book. So what I've done is I've gone back and I've done a whole new range of illustrations, and I'm really excited about some of the calligraphies, the Japanese calligraphies that I've done this time. Not just that one, but there's a whole range of calligraphies that I've got my old calligraphy brush out, and I started to do some more calligraphies. Go back the other way, Will. Scroll through. Yeah, good. We'll scroll through, see if we can find some for you.
I don't think we've updated those pages yet.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So we're going through page by.
Oh, got to show you this one.
Oh yes, we put this in. That you might recognise. I did that illustration, but obviously it's not an original. That's a copy of Masoyama's comic book character in the comic book series Karate Baka Ichidai, which means mad about, crazy about karate. And this was big in the 70s in Japan. And when I first lived in Japan in 1976, even then it was still really huge. And it really was very, very popular. Well, the biggest selling manga in Japan at the time, and also really had an effect on introducing Kyokushin to the Japanese public. And so many of the big names of Kyokushin of that generation came to Kyokushin through that cartoon series. So I just thought I'd add that as well. It's pretty exciting. It's overall, if we kept the same formatting, if we kept the same font size and margin size.
We've had to reduce the font slightly and the margin slightly wider to increase the contain the number of pages without blowing out, and to add the extra information and copy that Cam's written for it, which is exciting. He's expanded on so much more, talked more about early days of Sosai, and explained a lot more, even down to extensively on his name, Sosai's name, and how it came about, and the meanings and all that, which is all incredibly exciting and interesting to read.
And we just been finishing the section on Judo's Kimura.
Oh, Kimura, yeah. So
we did a new illustration for Kimura there. I don't know if we'll be able to find it, but
and Cameron keeps threatening to Kimura me if I don't listen to him.
Yeah, if Willi doesn't do what he's told, I'm going to Kimura him. And I had a nice long chat today to Jean LaBelle. I speak to Jean every week or two, and Jean's also that's the new illustration of Kimura. Now, one of the reasons I did illustrations, one is because I really think that, let me just come around here. So I really think that, I'm going to close that window. By doing illustrations, it adds, don't you think it kind of adds a unique flavor?
It does, and Cam's got such a unique talent with calligraphy and illustration that it brings ownership to the book.
Yeah,
which is fantastic.
And I'm really dirty on plagiarism. I hate plagiarism. My own book's been plagiarized to the umpteenth, and there's a couple of authors who've written books where they've plagiarized mine, and I think I'm going to get in touch with them and ask them if I can reuse the parts of my books that they've plagiarized. Get their permission. We were joking about that at lunchtime today. But I think also, what we've been able to do by doing the illustrations is like every photo in the book has been given to me with authority. All the pictures of Masayama and so on he supplied for the first edition. But there are a lot of books, obviously, which I had no authority over. How do you blow that one up? So I love the photos, but I don't have authority to use them anymore. So what I've done is things like this. You see, I've done illustrations where we've taken fairly well-known photographs of Masoyama, and I've decided to make them unique by doing my own illustrations of them. And I think that's added a real nice flavour to the book. Hey,
it continues what you started as well in book 1.
Yes, that's true. And like I said, hasn't been done, but like I said, there were a number of illustrations in the book that I wasn't 100% happy with. I don't worry about it, Will. We're going through the process. We've got a lot of these calligraphies, and I love how they've come up. These are my own calligraphies. Obviously, I use Masoyama's calligraphy and, inspired by his calligraphies and so on.
We have to show you Kimura's signature. And
yeah, but what we did is, as you know, there's a title page. So when you open the book, where's the...
Oh, here, sitting on it.
Yeah. When you open the book, there's a thing called the title page. So you'll open it. Oh, this is Willi's from the first one that I gave him. It's autographed, but this goes back to... And so there's the title page, you see. So usually what it does, it gives you the information about the title. Well, Willi's created this beautiful new title page. You see there, that's the new title page. And you see it's got that, it's got that beautiful little touch to it down the bottom with my calligraphy signature and my chop on it. That's my own chop that I made out of the chop stone, made it myself. But anyway, and so the whole page balances out to this really beautiful, title page that we're really happy with that, aren't we?
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, we're really...
We've signed off on the page.
Yeah.
So only 278 to
go. And Willi, you may not be aware, but you see, that's Mike Clark. And Mike Clark's a very prolific writer. He's written a number of books, some famous books.
Mike.
And Mike's also written a lot of articles. He was basically a journalist who wrote for martial arts magazines around the world. And Mike's books, too, are fantastic. I always recommend them, and a lot of the viewers have picked up on them.
Has Cameron ever told you about the calligraphy on the cover of the book? When we first did the book, he came to me with pages and pages and pages, and he'd go, look at this, I've got it. And I would just throw it on the floor and say, yeah, nah. And then the next day he'd come back with another ream of calligraphy, and he'd go, I got it. And I'd just throw it on the floor and go, nah. And I think it was the 4th or 5th day when he came back, and he said, I've got it. And I kept throwing it on the floor, and then I picked up a sheet back off the ground, and I circled it, and I said, yep, that's the one. And it was only, I don't know how big it was. It was no bigger than like 5 or 4 centimeters wide. It was quite tiny. And I circled it and said, yeah, that's it, that's the one. And he had this enormous sense of relief about it. And that was like 30-something years ago.
And I kept it just in case he made me do that all over again. I'm just over here looking for it, actually. I have all the original illustrations here.
Oh, he's trying to find it, the original calligraphy. But, he was quite devastated after the 3rd day of me throwing everything in the bin. And, of course, I was busy working as well in an ad agency, and he'd pop in and see me. And, it was quite hilarious.
Hilarious for Willi. Not hilarious for me.
He just looked at me and go, nah, you're kidding me. I've been up all night. But this, I don't know if he ever told you, but this book was supposed to be just a little manual, a little guide to the students in his dojo.
Yeah, mainly with the names of the kata and so on. Here we go.
And
so let me continue the story that Willi just told you. What had happened is I had the idea, because I enjoy calligraphy, English calligraphy as well. I had the idea of doing a nice calligraphy for the title. So I mooted that with Willi. He said, yeah, give us a look at some. So I came back and I was really happy. I said, yeah, these are great. And he goes, no. So I went home again. And like he said, for 5 days, I'm going home and I'm writing these calligraphies. And finally I came back. Just hold that for me, Will. I came back. This is one day I came back with this. And Willi's gone, no. And then he looks down on the floor and he goes, that's it. And he grabbed it, and you'll notice there's the title. Can you see that? And there's the title there in the middle down the bottom of the page. I'm not too sure if you could see it, but that one right there is the one that Willi spotted. Now, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see the difference, but Willi saw it. Willi's got a real good eye for design. So that's the one he chose, and that's what it's finished up, and we still have it today. And fortunately, I kept the piece of paper because I didn't want to have to go home and do it all again, because he's a bully. That's why I said if he's not careful, I'll Kimura his ass. So anyway, it's been a lot of fun, and this is the last trip. And like Willi said, we're going through page after page, signing off on the page, getting it done, and we're really, really excited. It's pretty exciting. Hey, Will?
Yeah, so get to sleep soon.
Yeah, we'll all get to sleep. I walked into my wife the other day and she stepped back and then realised it was me. Mike Lawton, good to see you, man.
Yes, Mike.
Yeah, we're aiming by the end of November. That's the goal. We got held up, and the reason we're able to do a lot of this, there is no. I was talking to a friend of mine, Rob Redenbach, who made a comment. He was involved with SAS, and he was talking about fear and failure, and we got the printer who got in touch with us and said, no, he can't do it anymore because he can't get the paper stock. So that was a little bit of a drawback, but we jumped on it, and we're able to. What we've done over the last 2 months in relation to expanding and improving it, it's just been fantastic. So in actual fact, it's a blessing in disguise that the printer pulled out. So now we've just got to get a new printer, and that's going to be very easy because now the priority is to get it printed. By this week, we'll have the print-ready PDF, and we'll be able to go to printers and get quotes within the next couple of weeks, and I imagine it'll start printing within 2 weeks.
Well, yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting times. Us, Leon. Oh, look, we're thanks, Will, for getting his vision on design. You have no idea, and the thing is, there's another nice calligraphy that we're able to do. That was a nice calligraphy that I did, and that's Boo from Budo, and I was really, really happy with that, but I kind of put it aside. I did that separate to the book, just doing some calligraphy one day, but then out of the blue, I saw it and I thought, oh, man, we could probably, hey, Chrissy, we're north of you now, not south, we're up in Cairns. So at the end of the day, we grabbed that calligraphy too, and we were able to make it work in the book as well. So the whole book, I'm really excited with it. I'm just scrolling through here now. Dolph's Ford is fantastic. Everything, it's all coming together really nicely. And we've got some great photos from Kevin Litchfield. Kevin Litchfield and his wife, Kevlin Photographies. Kevin, his son and daughter, Josh and Belle, train with me. Kevin is a professional photographer who's taken some fantastic photos. He took this photo of Pete Collis, and I think that's if you know Pete Collis, you can't get a more indicative photo of Pete, you know. Great guy, still trains. In fact, out of the blue, he rang yesterday while we were sitting here doing the book just to see how we were going. Great guy, Pete. We go back a long time. He kicked my ass in the 1984 national finals of Australia's. So he's a real legend. Yeah, it really is a picture painting 1,000 words. I mean, if anyone who knows Peter Collis would look at that and go, that is perfect. So Kevin Litchfield has really captured it nicely there. Very excited. We're just strolling through, going through bit by bit. This, how do I zoom in, Will? This is probably my favorite illustration of a famous fighter. And that's Ademir da Costa. Ademir is probably my favorite all-time fighter. We're just trying to increase the size of it.
Don't want to play again.
Doesn't want to play.
Oh, it's done that.
Oh, it's done that again. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So this is, where are we? There you go. So that was that wasn't a pen illustration. That was a calligraphy brush illustration that I did. If you look close up, you can see that it's, you know, just a brush painting. But I'm really excited about the effect that we got. You know, sometimes we were talking about it last week, the chiaroscuro, where you have to get that light and dark shade. But I'm really excited about that illustration too. It just creates the beautiful mood. Yeah, isn't that a beauty, Chris? That's Chris Dunn there, everybody who's commented. He's my nephew. He's also one of our black belts, but he's trained a lot with Pete, so he'll know Pete. And that punch of Pete is just so typical of Pete. It's really exciting. So we've got the different parts of the book. This will be probably the last section, but what we've got is 3 different sections to the book. Hey, Will, and we decided in the previous book, what we did was Willi came up with this great idea. If you remember the cover of the previous book, it had Schulze. There's the previous book, and you had Schulze here. So each new part 1, part 2, part 3 had this strip down the side of Schulze, and this image of Schulze was the one that was on the cover. So Willi's really, if you look at the cover of the book, there's the cover of the book. Is that, yeah? And then what Willi's done is he's created this great reproduction kind of with the kanji in the background. Where are we? There. It's hard to pick. Yeah, there we go. The kanji and Schulze. So if you go back to the cover, Will, you see how that kind of replicates it. Different size because the cover with a hard back and a jacket, dust jacket is always a different size. But we get that same energy of the kanji and the image of Schulze in each of those parts of the books. So little design features like that, it takes someone like Will with a ton of experience to be able to pull it off. So I'm really grateful. Willi walked into the dojo when he was a young man, when he was living in Brisbane. How old were you then? 23, 22?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I was doing Zendekai.
Another style.
Anyone knows, yeah, a freestyle. No real background or tradition to it. But I heard
produced some great fighters, yeah.
And I heard about Cameron, and I just walked into his dojo one night, just sort of popped my head in, and he looked up and he said to me, "Hey, which way?" Because he used to work at Thursday Island. Of course, he thought I might have been from up there. And of course, being from Papua New Guinea, I had no idea which way meant. Yeah.
I looked at him, I saw the islander face, I went, "Hey, which way?" Because that's how they greet each other at Thursday Island. Turns out Willi thinks I'm an idiot because he's from Papua New Guinea. But one thing Willi did do is he's from an island called New Island.
New Island,
And from the other end of that island is where Wally Schnellbelt is from. And so Willi actually introduced Wally to the dojo. So we used to call him Willi and Wally. But anyway, and Wally, of course, we've got him featured in the book that he went on and had a wonderful tournament record, first in Canada, first in Wales, second in England, or third in England, second in Russia, third in Brazil, first in the British Commonwealth titles, 7 times Australian heavyweight. He had a wonderful tournament career, and it was Willi that introduced him to Kyokushin. So I'm very
Wally's a wonderful story because he was the child, he was the kid we grew up that was never going to achieve anything because he was such a humbug and everything like that. And he'll tell you that himself. And I went to his 21st birthday party and he asked if he could come training with us, which we used to do kick workouts at home. And he joined us and then he wanted to learn more. And I said, well, I can't teach you. I'm not qualified to, but I'll introduce you to my friend. And dragged him along to Cam, and I told him to wear a white belt when he arrived because I think it was green at the time.
He trained in some other style in Sydney.
And I said, look, if you're going to come with me to meet Cameron, you need to arrive with your white belt because I don't think you've learnt enough to, Anyway, he and to his credit, he turned up in a white belt, and that was history.
Yeah, indeed. And so, Willi's had this long connection with the dojo from when he was a youngster all the way to now he's a really old bloke. He dyes his hair and everything. I can talk. I'm deciding whether I'm going to go bald Buddhist monk or whether I'm going to grow it out like Samson. I'm in the mid-range at the moment, and the grey beard kind of gives away the fact that I've passed the age of 40. But anyway, so look, it's so exciting. We're here a couple of days at it from morning to night, and I'm really glad that you can all meet Willi because now when you get the book, you'll be able to put the face to the design, and it's very exciting for me. And like I mentioned in the forward, Willi probably wanted me to do a second edition, within a few years after the first one, but one thing led to another: marriage, children, dojos, marriage again, dojos, marriage again. But anyway, like my buddy Rob Bredenbach was talking about the nature of failure, fear and failure. This COVID-19 has been a terrible, terrible experience for many people. Very few people recover. I was talking to John Donoghue, my grappling coach in Victoria, and he's been really hit hard because a lot of his work requires him to travel around the country and he hasn't been able to do it. But I was very fortunate to be able to use the time from the COVID shutdown to finally get this book going, and we're really excited. So good on you, Willi. We're excited, very close. We're signing off page after page, and it's a very, very exciting thing. And Mike Lorden up there, he's written a great book. Mike Clark, as you know, has written some books I mentioned. So they understand the process. Hey, Gare, good to see you, man.
We can blame for the great graphics.
Yeah, it's his fault. His fault. And if any of the illustrations aren't very good, it's his fault. And he knows that because if he blames me, I'm just going to Kimura his ass.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, indeed, Mike. I agree with you. And I think of the number of experiences I've had and connect them to growth, they're always a very, very tight correlation between failure and growth. So that's true. And good on Rob Redenbach for pointing that out to me after he watched a very valuable SAS documentary. Okay, doke. Look, it's short and sweet today. If you've got any questions over the next 5 minutes, I'm going to move back, get Willi back because I'm paying him $2,000 for every hour. So I got to get him back to I've got to get the whip out. But if you've got any questions,
bought lunch and dinner.
I bought lunch and dinner. Very expensive lunch and dinner. But if you've got any questions, now's a great time. I really appreciate you joining in, and you guys have been very supportive. It's the same team each week, and I'm really excited to be able to bring this to you all the way from Cairns. If Sakura, my wife, is watching, hi, honey.
Hi, honey.
Sorry, yeah. Sorry, we couldn't. You couldn't come this time. Yeah, quality budget. Yeah, indeed. That's why the book is going to cost $5,000 a copy. But anyway, look, I'm so excited, particularly about the 32-page colour section at the front. The Dolph Lundgren's forward is very excited. Gene LaBelle didn't write a forward to this one, but he wrote a wonderful testimonial about the book, which we'll be putting on the website as well. Ask Willi what Mix Master Belong Jesus Christ means in Pidgin. Mix
Master, Lord Jesus. Mix Master. Mix Master. I don't know what they see. A lot of slang. So Mix Master for Jesus could mean anything. Belong Jesus is for Jesus Christ. So Mix Master for Jesus Christ. Maybe it's someone that's like a DJ, or someone that speaks Jesus Christ a lot. So belong Jesus basically means for Jesus.
What's that from, Chris? Did someone say that to you? And Mix Master belong Jesus word.
Yeah, Mix Master belong Jesus.
I was told helicopter.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's it.
Mix Master. Oh yeah, okay. Look, the Mix Master.
Yeah, that's what they call helicopters.
There you go.
That's true.
Mix Master belong Jesus. Well, that's it. That's funny. Mix Master are like the kitchen mixers. And they call it Mix Master belong Jesus Christ because it's in the sky, so it's a helicopter. That's so funny.
Great. I haven't heard that.
Leo, look, yep. Us, Leo, looking forward to it too. I've got some great help lined up. We're translating them into Portuguese, Spanish, hopefully French, even Russian. So it's pretty exciting. So thank you, guys. And Willi, thanks very much. It's good. Willi's a good buller, a good friend, but also he's a master of design and graphic layout. And we put our heads together. We come up with some wonderful stuff.
Well, we did this a long time ago, the old-fashioned way, and we're just trying to retain the integrity of the original without changing it too much.
That's right. And I can tell you, not so much Willi because he already had the experience, but I didn't. That paste up where we get the galley rolls and we cut with a scalpel and blades and rulers and lines and pieces of strip here and there. Education and design, teaching how to. It's been a really wonderful experience. While Willi walked into my dojo and walked into my life, and without Willi, that book, the Budo Karate Master Armor, would never have been as it is. It probably still would have remained a Ronioed printout for the students. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Who's rugby? Oh, Wallabies, of course.
Who's your rugby league? Who's your favourite rugby league?
Rugby league player. Of course, Cameron Smith.
Cameron Smith. There you go. Awesome. I just had a great conversation today for about an hour or more with John Donoghue. John Donoghue is the Melbourne Storm tackling coach. He's a good buddy of mine, and he's also my grappling coach. So anyway, great. Well, thanks, guys. Paul, Harry, Daniel, good to see you, man. Leo, Frederick, all the way from Sweden. Marco, good to see you, man. Mike Lorden, thank you from Florida. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing you on Monday. No, there's no picture of Willi in the book, and thank you for making that, Harry. Now I'm going to have to. I got away with it until you opened your mouth. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. See ya.